We are live in the Santan Valley. Tom D. Camillo along with Joe Carreiro, and this is CAC Live. We're here every Thursday afternoon from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. And Joe, I know that today is usually we say it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, but for about 2 hours there, it was a dusty day in the neighborhood.
You know, I really love the drop in temperature and the rain and all that. Unfortunately, I spent a pretty fair amount of money yesterday to have guys come out and do all the weeds, you know, and spray all that stuff and all that. So it's just Murphy's Law. I should have had my truck washed too.
Does it affect your peacock that's walking around, or your African guineas? Do they get bothered by
the peacock when it's real windy? He goes back in his pen because he likes to keep his feathers perfect for the ladies.
Well, one of the things that weather always affects is construction, but construction in Arizona usually has a long window or a long opportunity because of how sunny it is, and yeah, it's hot, but there's a lot of opportunity to really get projects done. And today we're talking about a really exciting project at Central Arizona College. Many of you know that have been listening over the last few months. A number of projects going on, including the Maricopa campus, which is under construction at this time. There's going to be a new campus in the Santan Valley area. But what started a while ago, one of the first major ones, was at the Superstition Mountain campus. And today, joining us actually for a return trip is Chris Watka, the Vice President for Finance at Central Arizona College. And also joining us, he's brought with him John Thomason from Adolphson and Peterson Construction, and also Will Craig from Richard and Bauer, one of the architects on the project at Superstition Mountain campus. Gentlemen, welcome to CAC Live. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's what's going on up at the Superstition Mountain campus and up in Apache Junction. When the bond passed a few years ago, and people in the city were really excited about what was going to happen. And now we're getting close to a building being complete, and it's really transforming the area. A lot of what people talked about up at the Superstition Mountain campus and up in Apache Junction was how this was going to transform the area. But to actually see the building and what's being done is really sort of amazing. And Chris, let's start with you a little bit. Let's talk about the project itself and what is actually happening up at the campus.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Really, this planning and project goes back about 3 years, even before my time. I just finished my second year here. You know, our marriage with CAC and Richard and Bauer started about maybe 3.5 to 4 years ago now, with the whole master planning and looking at the SMC campus. And you know, we had the first bond issuance that failed, and then we went out, we scaled down a little bit, and the second bond issuance that passed in 2008, and SMC campus, Apache Junction, was the first campus that we're highlighting and to use our bond monies on. And you know, we collaborated with the architects, had a number of meetings with internal staff, and decided to focus in on the health careers area. And we started construction a little over a year ago. Actually, a year and a half ago, we started with our central plant. We decided we needed a new central plant put in, and that was completed about a year ago, but last April. And then we started the building itself thereafter, and we're on schedule now to open up the new building come the August term.
That's an amazing. It's when you look at the building, and I want to bring Will in here because he's one of the architects on the project, and we're going to show some pictures shortly. But Will, let's talk about this building that's being put up at the CAC campus at Superstition Mountain. It's really unique for what's being built there.
Well, yes. Most all of our projects become very unique to their site, and developing a building into a desert site like this, taking into account washes and floodplains and everything that is there, and maintaining it there is a very important aspect of our work. We don't just drop a building out of the sky onto a site. We fit it in, and that's what this building does. The form of it, the form of the materials, all relate to the surrounding area. The foothills of the mountains there, the striations of the mountains are picked up in the tilt panels. We take a lot of care in really placing the building into the context of the site. This is effectively a barren 63-acre site with a road cut through the middle of it that we had to bring the campus to. I mean, spread the campus through it, make it really fit, and that's where it is right now. And this is the first building of of a very large campus for the college.
When you looked at that site initially, and you saw the buildings that were there, and they were buildings inherited by CAC, and it was not initially built as a college campus; it was built as for some other usage, retail usage, or I forget what it was, because I think it might have been a art
like a Home Depot or something.
Well, it was actually a strip center automotive type facility with small bay automotive repair. So it's quite a different stretch for a college there.
So when you look at the building that's being constructed, and you looked at the buildings that existed, how do you mesh that, and then with also the surrounding environment like Superstition Mountain? It's a challenge, isn't it?
It's a huge challenge. Those buildings are getting very close to the end of their life cycle, and we're repurposing them as best we can, and they will be useful for the short term. Creating the campus, really, we had to somewhat turn our back on those buildings a little bit, but in doing the site planning, we've got a temporary engagement so that the existing courtyard feeds right into the face of the new building on the north side. So it hasn't completely ignored the buildings, but we're moving the center of campus to the new building. That's where the activity will be, and that was the goal of this first building, to really put a center to the campus that is meaningful and permanent.
You know, one of the photos I thought was really interesting, and it's more probably of an innocuous building. It's the central plant. And, you know, students aren't going to the central plant. But the photo I saw was taken, it was almost like a depth of field photo from the side wall, and it had the Superstition Mountain in the background. And the concept was that wall was taking the formation of the mountain. And when you really looked at it, it was kind of amazing, because you thought, that's not really going to work. But it really did.
Well, that was the challenge at the outset, and luckily we did have the opportunity to build the central plant first, which gave us a building to, let's say, experiment on a little bit. We had done this type of tilt work before on a previous project, and this was a little different because we turned the striations vertical, which meant we were doing 30-foot handwork on these panels. And working that concrete the way it was, I had to get down on my hands and knees and help and show this is how we did it before, how can we do it again? It was a challenge, but that picture we took very purposefully to really show this is what we meant, this is how it worked. And the concrete masons that did it were somewhat astounded. They really loved the project, and so we took that right on into the new building with as major features of that building, so that it really fits the site that way.
When you talked to them, were they skeptical at first?
Oh, absolutely. They had 3 different ways to do it, none of which worked really well.
John is laughing over here.
Even as a contractor, when we saw the drawings and they were telling us the intent what it wanted to be, of course, architects love the word intent. I was probably more skeptical than our concrete subs. And then actually our project engineer took that picture, and when he scanned it and shot it back to me, I pulled it up, I'm like, oh, I get it now. I mean, they hit it right on to match the Superstitions. And Will's right. He was great working with our concrete crews by pulling the mud up and everything, how we set the forms and everything. So we got the right look. It didn't look planned, totally random. So it was a great partnership with ourselves, our concrete sub, and Will helping us out with Sharp Bauer.
Well, this whole project, Chris, was really about partnership, because unlike buying in sort of unincorporated land, we have land that existed inside a city, in the city of Apache Junction, and they were great partners with us, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. We signed an intergovernmental agreement with the city, and they've just been wonderful to work with and work for. And then once we had Richard Bauer on board, then we went through the contract process and brought along A&P, and really it's a 3-pronged partnership here. And we hold weekly meetings and status reports, and we couldn't be happier with the project and the results that are forthcoming.
And then when we had the groundbreaking back, I think in November of 2010, I think is when we had, that's when we had the groundbreaking. There was about 140, 150 people, local people that showed up, business people. We had a really great turnout, and they were very excited. But one of the first things that had to be done was a traffic light out on Old West Highway, and that was put up at Winchester. Yes. And that was one of the first things. And then after that, we went through the
closure of Broadway.
And that's been basically rerouted through the campus, or it's become a campus road. It's not. How does that work?
Well, it's a public road, but it's a road that was shut down for about 8 months or so.
Yeah, all of 8 months.
So, and now it winds its way through the campus, and then one of the highlights is the sign out front. And can one of you talk about that? It's is it a stainless steel, the monument?
Yes.
The monument sign.
Yeah, the monument sign, we brought the concrete tilt panel out to the face of the site so that related right back to it. We also fronted that with some natural stone walls that when you go on site, you'll see there's an enormously long natural stone wall coursing through the site now. On top of that, we took the college logo, and not wanting it to be painted because of the nature of repairing paint all the time, we converted it to a polished stainless steel and brushed stainless steel image, and it just really takes off. It's a fabulous piece. It's almost art out there, and it really does create a front door gateway for the college right there.
We had a designer take a photo of that and used it on the front of our annual report, and he took it with a high definition. Well, he took it with his camera, and the way it came out on the camera was unbelievable. The reflections off that, and he took it in such a manner that you look through the circle and see the mountain in the background, but then you see the reflection across the street. So it's a really impressive piece, and there's two of them, right?
Right.
Off of Winchester and off of Idaho. Okay, great. So then at that point, when you get involved with a project like this, what is the timetable? We're looking at opening in August, but how long does it really take to kind of put this project together?
Well, the big driving factor with any school is the start dates. So, we knew you wanted to be open August 2012, the fall semester. So Rashard Bauer, the planning on that is how fast they could get the drawings done. We can get pricing, make sure we get the price accepted by the college. So that's a deciding factor while allowing us enough time to build. So knowing the square footage of the building, we kind of budget in some time frames on it, what a normal building would be. As you know, this is definitely not a normal building. So it is not a square box. We just go up and throw some joists across, put a roof on, which we're very grateful for. We're going to be very proud to have this in our resume of projects. So we took that in effect and then just put the schedule in and worked backwards. Like, we need to start construction this date to meet your schedule.
Is it fun building a building like this when it's not just a square box?
Oh, absolutely.
Do the actual people working on the building, do they like doing something different?
Very much so. I mean, we have staff meetings every 2 weeks on Mondays, and our regional vice president has many times said, "Okay, get a chance, go out to the CAC project. It's an exciting building, one we're going to be proud of, do." And our staff on site, we have right now, due to CAC allowing us to speed the project for renovation, we have 3 full-time superintendents and a project engineer full-time on site. Because staff it properly, we'd rather overmanage the job, give you the proper project and results. So they're all excited to be on it. I mean, we do have the ample time. It's it's not cushy time, but it's also not crunch time right now. So, and they're glad to be on this project.
Let's talk about, Chris, that there are some projects that the institution made a decision to speed up so that everybody could get back in for that fall semester. Can you talk about that?
Right. Originally, Tom, we had on schedule to finish the new building in August to open up for the fall term, and then to start the renovation work on the existing buildings, which would be about a 3-4 month period of time, and be ready to be open for the spring term. But John came to us a few months back and said, we got an idea here. Let's see if we can speed up the timetables here, put up some greater efficiency, finish the entire project in time for the fall term. So we decided to go that route and got everybody on board. And right now, we're preparing to move all the staff out of the building right after graduation. Actually, May 7th it will be our move. And we start going in there and start doing the renovation work on all the buildings, and we expect to have everything done and completed and open for the fall term.
So instead of, if I recall correctly, it was going to be till December, I guess, that
Right.
before everything was done. So kind of bite the bullet, everybody get on board, and less pain, or more pain, I guess, for a short period of time, and then get it up and going in August where everybody's kind of settled.
Right, less disruption, because if we
Yeah.
started the construction in August and not finished till December, there'd be people during the fall term kind of be an influx. But at this point now, sure, there's a little inconvenience for the summer term. Some of the summer classes have to be moved off campus. But in the long run, we'll be ready to open everything all at one time in the fall term, and it'll be more efficient.
Is it easier, John? Is it easier to have, since you have the crews out there already, to?
Very much so. I mean, the way the existing 4 buildings being remodeled, it's not all of one building or half of one building. It's rooms here, there. I mean, it's a hopscotch, and it would have been pretty much a nightmare for us to try and do it, and then also for the student learning environment. We need it to be all nights, and we also have night classes going on there too. So we looked at it, and then when we really lined out which classes had to go to a renovated area, they weren't going to work because two different classrooms had to shift at the same time to each other. So you couldn't remodel one because you're really disturbing them both. So we did, once we lined out, said this is impossible. If we can have it the whole summer, it definitely benefit us also, and we thought it was a win for the school also. So it is great for us.
How many of the buildings that exist up at the Superstition Mountain campus are actually going to have some type of renovation part of them? Is it all of them, or?
All.
Every building will have some type of renovation.
Okay. Right. Yeah. I think I believe it's a little over 50,000 square feet existing in the 4 buildings.
Right.
And we're touching like 27,000 square feet, so more than 50%.
Wow. So it's really going to transform the campus come August when the fall term starts. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at the photos and let these gentlemen here walk us through some of them and kind of describe what the students are going to experience when they come back for the 2012 fall semester. For Joe Carreiro, Tom D. Camillo, you're listening to CAC Live on KQCKLive.com.
Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips. When you visit Hill Family Dentistry in Santan Valley, dentist Dr. Tim Hill provides each patient with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you and your family with services that will make you smile. With a full range of general, cosmetic, and specialty dentistry services that will keep you and your family smiling. Our commitment to our community is to provide outstanding oral health. Hill Family Dentistry is located on 36359 Ganzel Road in Santan Valley, diagonally across from Banner Ironwood Hospital. Evening and weekend appointments available. We accept most insurances and have in-office policies available for non-insured. Contact us today at 480-588-8127. Hill Family Dentistry.
Are you experiencing computer problems? Is your computer running slow, bogged down with viruses and spyware? You need a reliable and knowledgeable, trustworthy computer service company. Contact Computers, Networks, and More, located in Santan Valley. Get your computer or laptop running in top condition by a certified technician with 20-plus years experience and beta tester from Microsoft. Computers, Networks, and More provides repairs and solutions to any computer-related issue, whether it's software, installation, troubleshooting, updates, or tune-ups. You can trust Computers, Networks, and More. Contact Jeff Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to schedule an appointment. We can have you up and running quickly, usually within 48 hours. Located in Santan Valley. Computers, Networks, and More. We're here for you. Contact Jeff at 480-729-8899. That's 480-729-8899.
Are you planning on starting a new business? In this economy, as a new business, you know you'll need to watch every single dollar. Before you make any decisions on phone service, call Zentris Communications at 1-877-ZENTRIS. That's 1-877-936-8727.
Mike McCord, better than the rest.
Dedicated to the community, with integrity that matters, leadership that counts. I want to be the voice of District Number 2. I want to work for you, the citizens of Santan Valley. Vote for me, Mike McCord, on August 28th, 2012.
This message was paid for by the Mike McCord for County Supervisor Committee.
Are you experiencing computer problems? Is your computer running slow, bogged down with viruses and spyware? You need a reliable and knowledgeable, trustworthy computer service company. Contact Computers, Networks, and More, located in Santan Valley. Get your computer or laptop running in top condition by a certified technician with 20-plus years experience and beta tester from Microsoft. Computers, Networks, and More provides repairs and solutions to any computer-related issue, whether it's software, installation, troubleshooting, updates, or tune-ups. You can trust Computers, Networks, and More. Contact Jeff Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to schedule an appointment. We can have you up and running quickly, usually within 48 hours. Located in Santan Valley. Computers, Networks, and More. We're here for you. Contact Jeff at 480-729-8899. That's 480-729-8899.
Welcome back to CACLive. Tom D. Camillo, Joe Carreiro. We are live in the Santan Valley studios of KQCK. Just a reminder that this Saturday night over at the Copper Basin YMCA, Central Arizona College and the Copper Basin Y are co-sponsoring a dive-in movie. Dolphin's Tale will be playing, and don't forget you can bring the family, swim, and watch the movie. It's going to be an outdoor event, and we'll have a lot of fun. Hopefully we won't get the storm that blew through here a little while ago, but that's a great event. That's the Copper Basin YMCA on Saturday night. And then also don't forget you can check out the CAC website at centralaz.edu. And again, Tom D. Camillo here along with Joe Carreiro. And in studio today joining us from Richard and Bowers, Will Craig, one of the architects on the project for the Superstition Mountain Campus expansion. Also, John Thomason from Adolphson and Peterson Construction. He's a project executive. And then Chris Watka, the Vice President for Finance at Central Arizona College. And these gentlemen have brought us photos, Joe, and we're going to show those right about now. We start with the aerial photo first so that we can kind of take a look and take people through. So if you're watching, you'll be able to see the progression of the building that's being built and of the campus itself.
Just want to throw something in real quick. You got Chief Martinez up here, and he just wants to make sure when he comes in next month, he's able to play pool on the breaks. So I thought that was important.
The chief is going to join us next month. He's going to talk about his hobby of watching the nighttime sky for foreign objects. That's what he does at night.
Nice.
So we'll have him in. Actually, Dan Bush will be a guest host that night. I'll be out of town that night.
Can't wait to give him some of my UFO stories.
So we just got to be careful running that other show beforehand. But in any case, let's look at the and we'll let these gentlemen describe what we're looking at. And I know this is before any of the construction took place.
Correct. This is the up in the upper right hand corner is the existing campus, the four buildings. The far upper left-hand corner is the QT there, on there, and the rest of the site is all of CAC's property. Broadway Road exists that cuts right through it, and that's a road that was removed and actually it's still a through road for the public, but more of a campus road too there. So that was before we started any construction, just got on site, a trailer we had, and that was it.
When you look at now this orientation is photos taken from the south, correct?
From the south, looking north. The old West Highway, that's the angled road up on the top. Idaho's on your left, which would be the west, and then Winchester on the right, in your east boundary.
So Superstition Mountain is toward the right, kind of on an angle. So when you looked at the campus and you looked at this, what was the first thing that, from an architect standpoint, did you see?
Well, the first thing was the road through the middle of it, which bisecting a campus like this is a difficult thing to deal with. If you have pedestrian traffic going north and south, it's just in the way. The other thing are the two washes that run through the site, and you can sort of see them there. They have a fair amount of vegetation, They run through the back of the old campus to the west, and they both end up in a collective wash leaving the site off Idaho to the left there. Right there. Those washes, one of them is a federally mandated wash. We couldn't touch it. We had to get permission to do anything in it. We did a little of that. We had to get a 404 permit and cross with utilities and so forth. So we couldn't really reroute it, do anything to it. So we had to avoid that one. The other one we could reroute a little bit, and we built over it, basically. So the new building part of it sits in between those washes, and part of it sits north of the northern wash. And it's all right south of the campus there. So as we progress through the photos, you should be able to see how that relationship works.
Let's take a look at the next photo. But as Joe's scrolling through, what is the significance of a wash going through a property? What do you have to deal with?
Well, like today when it rained, we have to deal with the water coming from upstream. The 404 wash, which is the bigger one on the south, is mandated, like I said, by the Corps of Engineers to be a navigable waterway. And it picks up a lot of water all the way from the superstitions all the way through Apache Junction and transports it on west into the bigger riverbeds. You have to deal with it. The amount of water that they calculate that could come through there is significant. I mean, you could float a boat, definitely.
Wow.
So in dealing with that, we have to keep the building away from it. We have to keep foundations away from it. It has to be respected. In desert washes, you can get huge flows, as you all know. Cars float away, things happen like that. In dealing with that, we put two bridges over that wash and one bridge over the other wash, and I don't know that you can really see them in that picture.
Is one of the bridges on the roadway here in the left?
Yeah, in the lower left, right above that other center, there is a bridge right there, and John can point it out possibly. I can't quite get over there.
You're welcome to drive there.
Right there. There's a bridge right there, and then there's one right there, and then one up behind the building. Those bridges were constructed from flatbed railroad cars. Again, repurposing the steel of a flatbed car. It's just taking a spent commodity and reusing it in a different way. They're welded together, put on large concrete foundations, paved over, and they make wonderful bridges. And they're fairly inexpensive in the whole sense of it. And in doing that, we don't touch the wash. We didn't build a big concrete wall in the wash. It just goes clear over the wash. So it doesn't obstruct the water, and we can move on. So it's a very easy and good way to approach it.
The Peacock is glad that you repurposed the railroad car.
You asked him to do that.
I did. Every week he makes his call right about 3 o'clock.
Only at this show, though. I don't know why.
So obviously between the two pictures, you see the transformation of the campus. The road is basically rerouted. Broadway's rerouted through there. Was there, when rerouting this road, did you have a couple different options, or why did you choose this particular path?
Well, in the master planning phase, we developed a central area for the campus buildings, and as you see there's the three arching roads really. Where the new building is sort of the back half of the football, and those two roads that kind of come out of the teardrop and then behind the building, all of the buildings for the future campus are scheduled to be within that area. The outboard sides outside of those roads would be the parking areas. So the idea of the master plan was to concentrate the buildings into the center of the site and have a pedestrian way, a pedestrian quad up through the middle of the campus. That would make it a much more pedestrian-friendly, much more enclosed space, that this is the community of college, and that's where it was all put. So that's where the genesis of the curving roads, arcing roads came from, and having the washes bisect that football-shaped piece was, well, there it is. We have to work around and through that. The teardrop entrance that you see there that comes off of Idaho is sort of the main entrance or will be the main entrance to the campus at some point. It's designed as a drop-off, and it kind of brings you in towards the building and gets you right into the heart of campus on that turnaround. but you don't get to park there. You have to then leave that area and park on the outboard edges.
So if you're looking at this and listening to what Will's talking about, you're coming in from Idaho on the left, about midway on that screen, and then the teardrop is the road that's kind of looped around.
Right.
How important is it when you look at a project and you look at this whole kind of landscape that you may not be building all the buildings now and may come over a 20-year period, but how important is it to plan this out so you don't back yourself into a corner 10 years from now?
Well, that's all the master planning effort. When we undertook the master plan, the idea of the campus was a complete campus within itself. I think that the outset numbers were 400,000 square feet. That's a lot of campus buildings. So that would entail building 9 more of what we're building right now, not counting the existing.
Isn't a Costco like around 50,000 square feet?
I would guess that's about right. And the building we're building right now is, John, it's 40,000-ish.
A little over 40,000, yes.
So that's the new building, and I'm projecting that we'll build 9 more of that size building.
Wow.
Primarily classrooms, that kind of facility. The master plan shows the possibility of recreation center. I mean, everything that you could possibly squeeze into a 60-acre type campus.
Wow. When you're, John, when you're building this kind of thing, especially the road parts, what are some of the challenges you guys face building washes and putting in bridges and building a building like this?
Well, where it really could have got complicated, and we were lucky enough that the CAC did a lot of legwork up front, was all the governing authorities that were involved. Because we have, obviously, the college. We have Apache Junction. There's 2 separate water companies. And Idaho and Broadway is actually an ADOT intersection. So, and then SRP abandoning the overhead electrical lines because they went along Broadway, and we took those underground. So bringing all those components together, that was a coordination that could have really gotten a big nightmare, but did not. I mean, everybody worked together. There are a few snafus here and there, but nothing that we couldn't sit down and talk over. And, that's what was really troubling us, how that was going to fly. And it wasn't a trouble. I mean, like I said, you always have little hiccups, but nothing major at all happened on that. So that was our biggest concern. The other thing was, how do we get in and that wash that separates things? How do we get in and, not tear that up because we're not supposed to, or there can be major fines on that one. But we still have utilities run through. So very upfront meetings with subcontractors, make sure they knew their limits and take care of things properly.
So really, Chris, it's all about communication when you're doing a project that's complicated.
Absolutely, Tom. There's so much behind the scenes work. It's really unreal. Numerous meetings, numerous agreements, numerous paperwork, numerous resolutions that have to be passed, etc. But it's all worth it at the end. I mean, the community has opened their arms to us, and everyone's happy we're there. And this will be the highlight of the whole Apache Junction once we're completed, and should be no problems at all in continuing our future phases out here. As Will said, we have room to expand and put up an additional 8-9 buildings.
What's the existing space of the old buildings? How much square footage do we? Because when you look at this building, just from a picture standpoint, it almost looks as big as the entire rest of the campus.
It is. The new building, like I says, 43,000. Existing buildings are approximately about 50 combined. And we'll be, like we said earlier, be touching about 27,000 square feet. So pretty much doubling the size of the campus.
Wow, that's really a transformation of a campus. Joe, why don't we go on to some of the other pictures here, some close-ups of the campus as we go through. Now this is a little bit closer shot. What are we looking at here?
This is from the west, looking kind of northeast, and that's the long wall that pretty much parallels Idaho, and that's all copper. That's the wall, and even the roof line that has different angles going up, down, the other will also be copper. The only thing that won't be copper is the building to your right portion. We call it the south building. That is a flat roof, that we have a different roof on that. But other than that, the roof will be copper. And, Will, you can talk a little bit about that design aspect.
There's 2 distinct buildings here. One is we call it the north building, which has the shaped roof, which is all copper. That has the Information Resource Center, the administration offices, community room, a classroom, cafe. it's sort of the center activity hub of the campus. The south building, which is a little more traditional square shaped, is primarily a science classroom wing. I think we have 6 lab buildings and 2 general purpose classrooms in that building. So that's the beginning point, and the bridge between the two has some faculty offices and student gathering spaces just to connect the two pieces together. So there's sort of a pedestrian thoroughfare that goes across the wash in between the two buildings.
Once that roof anodizes from the weather, what's it going to look like?
It will, over time, go to copper penny brown. Now, probably in 50 to 100 years, we might get some green coloring to it. But
50 to 100? It takes that long, huh?
Well, in our environment, if you put water on it every couple of days, every year, like in Seattle, it'll go green in a couple of years. But in our environment, patina green takes 50 years. It's a long process.
And then the gap in the building where the area that the bridge kind of goes over, that's the wash.
That is that is the smaller of the two washes, and most of the roof drainage, as we saw today, goes into that wash, and it's pretty spectacular. There's waterfalls coming off the roof, and all that water collected on that size surface launches itself into that wash, and so that wash just conveys the water right off site. It's the most wonderful thing I can see.
So you've had an opportunity to see it in rain at some point in action?
Morning.
It was
this morning. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3 hours ago.
Wow, that's great. Let's go, Joe. Let's progress to some of the other photos. When was this actual photo? When was this taken?
That was taken at the end of March. We do aerial photos end of each month. So this is fairly recent, about a month old, I guess, 3 weeks ago. This would be looking from the east, or looking somewhat southwest of the other side. You can see we don't have as much copper on this side. You can see the existing buildings. On the right side will be the main entrance, which will have a staircase effect coming down. I know they talked about possibly having the graduations outside on that. There'll be grass out there, kind of a mall area, and it's gonna really transform the area.
Well, this front part, is that a road that's going to go in, or is that just going to be a walkway? It looks circular. Huh?
There'll be a small parking lot up there, and then it will tie. Joe goes back if he could. There we go. There's the existing parking lot to the top left. There's some modular buildings, actually the existing child care. And we renovated it, actually nearly complete, putting that in Building A, or Building 100. That will get removed, and that'll be another secondary entrance into the campus. So there's a small parking lot there. I believe the plan was you didn't want to overwhelm the front with parking.
Right. It really is a convenience parking lot. It's not. It doesn't take very much volume at all. The main parking is to the left of the building, as we see it right now, where all the construction vehicles are parked currently. Well, you can't see it on this picture, but this side of the campus will eventually be retention and parking areas and landscape areas to buffer the larger buildings from the community side there.
Did you ever think about putting maybe long-term parking there in the wash? Because eventually, that would wash them away, right?
Kind of sort them out every now and then.
Joe, let's scroll through some of the other ones, get some closer shots of the building itself. And it's really an amazing project that's underway up in the Junction area at the Superstition Mountain campus. And this one is a close-up shot. Okay, what are we looking at here?
Now this is looking from the south building to the north building, and that's the wash that's in between the two wings of the building. To the left is you can just barely see a little bit of the bridge construction. Pretty much everything you see below the blue-colored roofing will be glass. So that whole side of the building facing out to the wash will be floor-to-ceiling glass. The gray walls you see there are the natural fieldstone walls. They create patios and outside areas for the students to gather. That is the wash, and it's full of trees, shrubs, and it will always be so. And it will probably get more intense, and be a much more natural environment than it is even today.
You'll have deer walking up there, javelina, all kinds of stuff, huh?
Kodiak bear, everything.
Nice.
You know, he just gave the chief a heart attack. He just heard that. He's listening to the show. So, but obviously, what you're saying is with the water runoff, it's going to be more intense.
Well, we happen to focus a little more water to that area just because of the way the buildings work, and so that will have a lot more water at times. So.
That's great. Why don't we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to look at some more of the buildings and get some more of the insight into the construction going on at the Superstition Mountain campus. You're listening to CAC Live on CACLive.com.
Are you ready to start taking control of your future and maximize your earning potential? Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes and personalized attention to help you compete in today's tough job market. CAC now serves Santan Valley and Queen Creek. The CAC Santan Center is located in the shops at Copper Basin on Hunt Highway, behind Barrow's Pizza. Stop in and see how taking classes at CAC costs a fraction of a state university, and your credits can transfer. So, if you want to earn real money, you need to learn real skills at Central Arizona College. Enroll in classes today by calling 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu or call 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu. Central Arizona College, your college, your way.
Wow, edible arrangements, beautiful, delicious, and delivered right to your door. You won't believe your eyes when you feast upon these beautiful edible gifts.
Located in Queen Creek on Combs and Ganzel in the Fry's Shopping Center, Edible Arrangements is the leading purveyor of delicious, high-quality, artistically designed fresh fruit arrangements that are a practical and healthy gift, perfect for every occasion. They feature a wide variety of delicious items to choose from, including mouth-watering chocolate-dipped strawberries, juicy pineapple, and melon arrangements, just to name a few. Contact Edible Arrangements at 480-655-6464. That's 480-655-6464.
Remember, perfect for any occasion. Edible Arrangements.
Are you having plumbing or septic problems? No worries. Call Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Been in the Valley since 1996. Family owned and operated, proudly serving East Valley and surrounding areas. With a full range of services from drain cleaning, septic tank pumping, general maintenance and repairs, inspections for the sale of your home. They provide excellent and courteous service for all your plumbing and septic needs. We're not satisfied till you are satisfied. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call today. Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Contact Denise at 480-987-8051. That's 480-987-8051. Hi, Marie here for wannasing.com. Are you looking for professional DJ or karaoke services for your next holiday party or get-together? wannasing.com can provide the best in sound, lighting, and a professional MC to host your next event. Whether it be a company party, birthday party, wedding, or any occasion, wannasing.com is ready to provide the fun and make it a night to remember for years to come. Call 480-664-8801. That's 480-664-8801. Mention this radio ad and receive a special discount for your next fun event. wannasing.com. Santan Motorsports, located in Queen Creek, specializes in off-road ATVs, dirt bikes, UTVs, side-by-sides, street bikes, and provides performance work. Santan Motorsports is your local dealership for off-road parts and accessories. They provide and pride themselves on excellent customer service and a staff that understands all aspects of the off-road business. Come in and browse our dealership and find those parts and accessories you've been looking for. Check our website, santanmotorsports.com, for monthly specials as well as used equipment. Santan Motorsports, your one-stop shop for sales, service, and knowledgeable staff. Located in Queen Creek on Power Road and Santan Boulevard, or call 480-988-0580. Santan Motorsports, we're here for you.
Got pain? Call Dr. Wayne. Chiropractic care may be your answer. Queen Creek Back Care. Located in Queen Creek on 20231 East Ocotillo Road on the backside of True Value Hardware Store. Safe, effective treatment with chiropractic and same-day appointments to speed your healing. With more than a decade of experience and hundreds of satisfied patients, Dr. Wayne Christensen will provide you the pain relief you've been searching for. Dr. Wayne is fully qualified to treat the entire family, even children. Call for an appointment today. 480-677-3900. That's 480-677-3900.
Welcome back to CAC Live on KQCK Live. Tom Camillo, Joe Carreiro, and we are visiting with Chris Watka, the Vice President for Finance at Central Arizona College. Also, Will Craig, one of the architects from Richard and Bauer on the project at the Superstition Mountain campus for Central Arizona College, and John Thomason, the project executive from Adolphson and Peterson Construction, who are actually building the new buildings and the landscaping and everything that goes with it. And John, we've actually turned the controls over to John for the last 15 minutes of the show. And John, I know we have up here now is this stone wall, and it's kind of unique not only in what it is, but how it's being put together.
Will can get a little bit into design concept, but as far as the building, Palo Christi Stone is our subcontractor, and each one of these stones are hand placed. And they're not, very rarely are they chipped, and as you can see, they make a square wall out of round stones. I mean, it's total, full vertical face and a square 90-degree pretty much corners up there, so it's back to old world craftsmanship for these masons, and they're doing a great job on it. And Will, your comments on the design intent of it?
Well, through the middle of the site, we felt that, well, there are grade changes that have to be accommodated between the east and west of the site. The whole 60 acres slopes from the east to the west, and we didn't want to disturb that dramatically all the way across. So we put a wall through the middle of the site, and this acts as our grade changer so that we can be high on the one side, low on the other, and maintain that desert flow without building pads for every building throughout the site. This wall, I don't know what it's a couple 100 feet long right now. It courses from one of the curved roads we were talking about earlier, right past the face of the new building, and goes right up to the southwest corner of the old campus in a big long arc. It captures the base of the new building, and it also captures the what I'll call it the quad area now. It will be a lawn area that we mentioned a little bit about, possible graduation site and so forth, but it kind of defines the middle of the campus. On the west side of it is the natural desert side. On the east side of it right now will be the built environment, and the wall is fabulous. It's the stonework, the stone masonry is unbelievable. And when they dumped the first load of rocks on site, I said, there's no way. This is not going to work. And they started off down in the south, and it was amazing.
What do they stick the rocks on?
This is a solid rock wall. It is 2.5 to 3 feet thick. They build up rock, and they hand place these. They mortar them in place. When they get to the top, they do knock corners off of pieces here and there, but primarily they find the pieces that fit together.
So they're not stuck on those blocks?
No, there's nothing but mortar and rocks inside this rock wall.
And where Will said pile of rocks, you can see here where they, up in the top of the corner, they just take a load of rocks and dump them, and the guys just go and pick through them one at a time to see what fits.
You can just take the mouse straight up.
So it's
up in here.
So that's the pile right there.
They just pile. These guys come over, make them fit as they go.
Wow.
It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle.
Pretty much, and then if you want to get down to where Will's talking the grade changes and a real finished product, this photo, as we're
yeah, it'll pop up on the screen
Yeah,
here
it just
for
takes a second.
people.
Okay. There's a finished product with
Wow,
the building, the
look at
copper
that.
wall in the background. I mean, yep,
So-
those are rocks with 90-degree corners, guys.
And that's brushed stainless on the bright side?
No,
that's
that's copper.
that's all the
Now
copper.
talk about the copper.
Gotcha.
Talk about that copper wall.
Well, a couple of things about the materials we use. They're primarily natural materials, or materials that we can have handmade, and they will last, we'll say, forever for the time being. The copper roof, the copper wall will patina. It takes no maintenance. It's a done deal. It's a 50-year, 100-year material. We're not going to have to deal with it. The concrete you see there is the ribbed concrete. Again, that's integrally colored. We'll never have to paint it. We'll never have to do anything to it. The stone wall, again, it's there. No paint, nothing to do with it. The only thing we have to do is clean the glass, and that's Chris's job, I think.
And when you do something like this, do you? I mean, this is obviously a very high end building. Do you use like argon gas windows and?
Yes, everything is low E, high tech glazing, and when I don't know that with these photos we have very many of the glazed in areas, but there's a significant amount of glass around to the south side, looking into the wash from particularly this north building. The whole north side of the building is glass. This is a very open feeling building when you get inside. Many of our buildings go that way. It's naturally lit. It's just an environment that we create that really, people like. They like to be in the buildings. In this picture, you're seeing the face of the south building, but that's the bridge. And you can start to see where the glass is. You can see through it. I mean, it's glass on both sides. The copper is on the back side of that picture. So it is a bridge. It is over the wash, and it's a spectacular view.
Sure gives you a perspective on how big it is when you see that crane, doesn't it?
That's now, is that the bridge wall? Is that just a walkway? Or are there any offices on there?
Right to the left, you can sort of see a white band that's a drywall soffit right there. There's offices below that line on the bridge. So I imagine there'll be a pretty heavy lottery for who gets those offices coming up here. So
There's already people staking their claims.
If Chris is doing the windows, he gets an office, right?
There you go.
You got the morning sun and the superstitions coming at you, and then you got the nice sunset in the evening if you're sitting in those offices.
Wow,
So,
that's
Beautiful.
That's terrific. What else? Let's take a look at some of the other photos here.
Well, we talked about some of the materials. The other aspect is the cedar inside that Richard Bauer designed. So make sure we're coming up here.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just it really kind of fits with the natural surroundings of everything, both inside and outside.
And this is the wall that actually the bridge is on. So that's a vertical wall that is cedar planking. Up above to the left of this area, though, this is also the ceiling that will have the same cedar planking, and that is throughout pretty much every ceiling spot, with the exception of the lab rooms.
And those, of course, aren't rolled out like timber. Those are all individually placed strips of cedar.
yes, and they're placed over a blacked out support system. Again, it's a natural material. It is. For all intents and purposes, unfinished. It will never have to be painted. It will have to be dusted on occasion, maybe every 10 years. But it's acoustically wonderful. The soft wood, and then the way that it's installed, it's gapped slightly so that it will absorb a lot of sound in the space. So even with the activity of the students in the I'll say, hard-surfaced floored areas, it really quiets the space down. We've used this type of wood on a number of libraries around the state, and it is a phenomenal change of environment. It doesn't look like your standard office building. It is an environment that people enjoy being in.
I bet it smells terrific, doesn't it?
Well, it's not aromatic, so it's just okay.
John, let's look at some of the other photos. Okay, this is the one that's coming up is a little different angle. From the first picture we saw here of the planking. And what are we looking at here?
This is actually on the bridge looking out, the same
Okay.
wall, but that's now finished right at the bottom. So there'll be glass coming up to that. That's looking west out in the wash. And actually, the tree you see, and I don't know if I'll point or show it, right here is just a huge Palo Verde that actually turns gold right now in the afternoon because you get the reflection of the copper onto it.
Wow.
It's sort of like the Ten Commandments, the burning bush, it looks like. The copper reflection changes the whole color of the desert out there when you see it in the afternoon. It's just another cool aspect of the design, how it kicks into it. We can go to some of the front entries that, like I said, once again, we're still under construction. But we'll pull open. This would be, I want to make sure, this is actually on the east side. Or no, this is the entry. Looking north, we're standing in the north or northeast corner of the building, right where the trucks and the man lift are. Here will be your main entrance. That'll be your student services when you walk in to come in. One thing we also have in the building is the bookstore. We'll relocate to the new building,
Okay.
as opposed to where they're actually right now. We got them in temporary trailer in the parking lot, so we're thankful that they will accommodate us on that. But they'll have a nice new space, and this will all get tiered down, like we talked before, in the lawn area. So it'll make a real nice area coming in there.
Wow.
Are we going to be finding this in Architectural Digest?
Probably not Architectural Digest. Probably Architectural Record, Progressive Architecture, a couple of the more trade.
Is this a completely unique design from other ones
yeah.
you've done, or
Yes,
they all are then?
Yeah, if I pulled up other pictures, you'd say, "Wait, you didn't do that too, did you?" None of our buildings look alike. We use very similar materials, but they're very specific and purpose specific. That
Nice.
we wouldn't build this in the center of Phoenix. This isn't a center of Phoenix type of building. This is a desert building that goes out here in the foothills. So it's purpose built.
Wow.
One of the things that Richard Bauer is requiring us to do is the areas we're disturbing through here, we're hydroseeding back with natural desert plants, not big trees and everything, so it won't be barren dirt here. So as this goes in, the building will, doesn't stick out totally like, okay, we planted this in the desert and it's all by itself. We're still saving as much natural landscaping, or we're refurbishing it back to where it was. So we're not going to end up with a bunch of dirt pads in a building for future buildings to come to.
Now, John, you said some of your employees had, some of your workers, construction workers, went over to a local restaurant and got some feedback.
Yeah, we actually had some meetings Monday, just 3 days ago, and our crews went over and apologized. I don't know if it was Drinkwaters or Dirtwaters there on Old West Highway. Walked in, and we had our shirts on, the A&P, and have the CAC logo on it. And they go, "Oh, you guys building that building over there?" I go, "Yeah." And our manager, but two gentlemen and a lady said, "Hey, are you going to make a space for us to open up our restaurant, our annex over there?" I said, "Well, there is a cafe in both the new and the reno, but you'd have to negotiate with CAC on that one." So they said no, they're very pleased. I mean, we've gotten people walking through, a little kind of a nuisance, but it's great, the excitement. Community people coming on the construction site. And, they're saying, what a great building is. They're loving it and the progress going on. So, while we don't like them coming on the site, we do like the excitement it's generating for, both CAC and Apache Junction.
We'll give a plug out there to Dirtwater Springs.
Thank you.
They've been out there a long time.
That's great. So what is the timeline? At what point do you think you'll be done and off-site with the project?
We are, I'm not say shooting for. We will be done in mid-July, both for the new building and the renovation. The new building, because you guys got to move all your furniture in, get people going, and get the registration going. It's for the August. So, I believe our contract is up July 11th on that one. We may be doing some, a little punch and, touch up, but that's it. We want to get you in there soon. The renovation, pretty much the same time, being we get into there, because you guys are going to move there. You need the full facility. That's what it's built for. So mid-July, we're done. It's all yours.
And Chris, how long will it take once they're done to get moved in? Is it do you use old furniture? Do you buy new furniture? Is there that process obviously falls under your area?
Yes, Tom. All the furniture has been ordered. All the furniture will arrive by June 30th. And as soon as we're able to get in there by mid-July, we'll be setting up. The new building is going to have all complete brand new furniture. Some of the renovated spaces are going to have new furniture as well. All that will be in place and ready for the start of the fall term.
That's terrific. Well, it's we appreciate you gentlemen coming out here to KQCK and joining us on CAC Live. It's I know that the people in Apache Junction, but throughout Pinal County, everybody's excited about this this facility going up, and it's getting closer. We've been asked a lot for over the course of the last year and a half to 2 years, what's going to happen, when's it going to happen, and it's growing out of the desert, and I'm sure we'll have an opening, a grand opening sometime probably in August when you guys are done and we're all moved in. So we appreciate you all coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you. For Joe Carreiro, I'm Tom D. Camillo. Don't forget, next week is our graduation show. Sharon Steinert, guest speaker at the Superstition Mountain campus. For graduation will join us, as well as some other special guests. CAC will have its graduations, all three of them, next weekend, and that's the pinnacle of the academic year. For Joe Carreiro, I'm Tom D. Camillo. I'd like to thank John Thomason, Will Craig, and Chris Watka for joining us. Don't forget, join us next week at 2:30 on CAC Live.
Santan Motorsports, located in Queen Creek, specializes in off-road ATVs, dirt bikes, UTVs, side-by-sides, street bikes, and provides performance work. Santan Motorsports is your local dealership for off-road parts